Okay. Today, let's learn the continuation of chapter 15 from your social science history. Well, in the previous class, we have discussed some of the important points on bhakti movements, okay, which includes uh, bhakti cults such as Ramanuja, Ramananda, Mirabai, Chaitanya, Kabir, as well as Guru Nanak. You know? So today, let's try to cover this Islam and Sufism. Islam is a religion founded by Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so this is the picture of Prophet Muhammad. It was a painting. I don't know whether he exactly looked like this or not. Okay, but it's up to you. You can just browse on the internet to find out the a better picture of this Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so Islam religion was founded by him. So it was brought into India by Arab traders. So when the Arab traders they came to India, especially during the medieval period, many Arabs, okay, they came to India for trade. So they also brought this uh, Islam religion in India at the time. So when Turks, especially Delhi Sultanates were Turkish, you know, they were Turks. The Mughals were Mongols, you know. So that's the difference. So when Turks they conquered India, uh, they spread Islam religion in India as well. All right, and Islam emphasize the main teachings of Islam's are or were equality and brotherhood. Okay, another one is there is only one God whose name was Allah. They believe in monotheistic religion, right? And they were also against the worship of idols, whereas idol worships, uh, stone worship, tree worships were prevalent among the Hindus in India at the time. So when the Muslim rulers they came to India, they preached against the worship of these idols, right? And Muslims they were or they are basically classified or divided into two sects. The first one is Shias, the second one is Sunnis. And we all know that I have mentioned this one in the previous classes or in the uh, preceding chapters that the Shias they consider the Prophet's cousin and his son-in-law. You know, Prophet Muhammad did not have a son, but he had a daughter who was married to Ali. Okay, so the Shia they believe that this Ali as a spiritual head of Islam. Okay, and Shias are more liberal than the Sunnis in their religious outlook as well as religious views and practices. Okay, so some of them are Shias and others are Sunnis. Sunnis believe in the authority of the first three caliphs or the successor of this Muhammad. They were known as caliphs, or they were also known as Khalifa, right? So this group were known as the Sunnis. So I'm sure you have to learn this. Okay, I may ask you in the exam, what's the difference? What's the basic difference between the Shias and the Sunnis? All right. Okay. So another one, Sufism. Sufis were Muslim mystics or what we call as the Muslim saints, like what we have saints among the Hindus. You know, previous class we have already learned some of the saints like Guru Nanak, like uh, Chaitanya and all. You know, so in the same way, the Muslims were the Muslim mystics or what we call as the Muslim saints. They were known as Sufism, and Sufis means one who is pure. He is pure. Okay, he did not do any bad things. So that's what we call as Sufism. So Sufism emphasizes on love and devotion to God and also compassion towards all fellow human beings. Compassion, love, love for God as well as love for human beings. Okay. What did they reject? They rejected elaborate rituals and codes of behavior demanded by Muslim religious scholars. So Muslim religious scholar, especially the Sunnis, they have a lot of codes of behavior. Okay, they have laws against dresses, laws against these and that. So this Sufism, they probably rejected this one. Okay, as well as ritualistic. Understand? Ritualistic. Another one is they sought union with God. Okay, the purpose of their religion is to sought one with God, a union with God. The Sufis compose poems like many of the bhakti saints, okay, to express their feelings, and these very poems it develops into a rich literature later on. So chanting musical recitations, which was known as sama. Let us repeat again, sama. And service to humanity was or as the main part of their thought, so to say. Service to humanity. They preach about this service to humanity. So from the picture you can see they were chanting, they were singing, and they were dancing. It's a religious rites. Sufis were also organized into 12 silsilas. Silsilas. They were divided into silsilas. Okay, ranks. And each of the silsila is led by a prominent mystic. Okay, we have all the learned mystics, holy men, so to say, and the purpose of this classification or this division of silsilas uh, to link between master, peer. Okay, let us repeat again. Peer means master, and the disciples or the followers, which were known as murids. Okay, this was a vital part of the Sufi system. Let's go to the next one. Some of the Sufi saints, such as Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti. Okay, he came to India around 1192 AD, and he settled at Ajmer, which is in Rajasthan. I think we have already learned this one when we study the Sultanate of Delhi, right? And not only that, this Muinuddin Chishti, he believed that devotion to God consists of service to humanity, and also made him very popular. Understand? Because of this preaching. And he also encouraged devotional music and qawwalis. He was a good singer, qawwali singer. I think you might have heard this qawwali singing, right? Or qawwali songs. And he probably died in 1236 and was buried at Ajmer. Okay, his dargah is very popular even today. Many people, Muslim, Hindus, or even Sikhs, they visit his dargah and offer a chadar, and also they seek the blessings every year. So if you look at this picture, this is the dargah, which is also still existed in I mean in Ajmer in Rajasthan. Okay, so let's see the next one. Another guy, his name is Baba Farid. He was the disciple of Muinuddin Chishti. Okay, okay, I'm sure you have understood what I'm telling to you. Baba Farid, he was a Sufi saint. He confined his activities, his preaching and his teaching to Hausi, that is in Haryana, and also Ajodan, this is in Punjab. Let us repeat again. Hausi, Haryana, Ajodan, Punjab. Okay, he preached all about true love for God. Okay, some people just love for namesake, but he said we must love God in a true sense or in a true spirit, so to say. And he also composed beautiful verses. Okay, both Hindus as well as Muslims, they recite the verses that were composed by this Baba Farid. So from the picture itself we can see this is Baba Farid, and he was reciting his verses and preaching to his disciples. The next one is Nizam Uddin Aulia. He was the disciple of Baba Farid. He was considered to be the greatest Sufi saint. Alright. And he lived in Delhi, as most probably during the time of this Alauddin Khalji. I think we have already learned something about Alauddin Khaljis, right? He lived during the time of this Alauddin Khalji. Okay, so he died in Delhi. He was buried in Delhi, and even today at Nizamuddin, you will be able to see the Dargah, okay, the burial place of this Nizamuddin Aulia, okay. And for him, love for God implied love for humanity. If you love God, you will love humanity. If you love God and if you hate God, that means you you do not love God. So that was the idea of Nizam Uddin Aulia. Well, I think for today, let's learn up to here. This Islam and Sufism. Next class, we will try to cover Hinduism in Manipur as well as Islam in Manipur. So, please learn all the notes from the study materials which I have sent you in your WhatsApp group. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. May God bless you. Thank you so much for participating in this learning.